The Sultan of Swat. The Colossus of Clout. The Great Bambino. Babe Ruth wasn't just a baseball player, he was a legend, an icon, and a game changer. But how did a boy from Baltimore become one of the greatest athletes of all time? Let's dive into the story of Babe Ruth. Born George Herman Ruth Jr. on February 6, 1895, in Baltimore, Maryland, Babe Ruth came from humble beginnings. His parents, George Sr. and Catherine, were German immigrants who worked tirelessly to make ends meet, running a saloon in a rough part of town. The neighborhood was filled with poverty and crime, and young George, often left to his own devices, quickly became known as a troublemaker. By the time he was 7, Ruth had already developed a reputation for skipping school, stealing, and getting into street fights. His parents, overwhelmed and unable to manage his behavior, made the difficult decision to send him to St. Mary's Industrial School for Boys. The institution was part orphanage, part reform school, and part trade school, known for its strict discipline. It was a tough adjustment for Ruth, who suddenly found himself in an environment where rules and structure dictated every part of his day. But St. Mary's also introduced Ruth to one of the most important figures in his life, Brother Matthias. A tall, strong man with a booming voice and a love for baseball, Matthias became a mentor and father figure to Ruth. Recognizing his natural athletic ability, Matthias taught him the fundamentals of the game: how to pitch, how to hit, and how to field. He instilled in Ruth a love for baseball that would define the rest of his life. Ruth spent over a decade at St. Mary's, where baseball became his escape. He played every position, but it was his pitching that set him apart. His left-handed fastball was nearly unhittable, and by the time he was a teenager, he was the best player on the school team. His skill did not go unnoticed. At just 19 years old, Ruth's life changed forever when Jack Dunn, the owner of the minor league Baltimore Orioles, spotted him. Dunn was so impressed that he signed Ruth to his first professional contract on the spot. Because Ruth was so young and inexperienced in the outside world, Dunn had to become his legal guardian in order to finalize the contract. This led Ruth's teammates to jokingly refer to him as Jack Dunn's Babe, a nickname that stuck and soon became known across the baseball world. Ruth's professional baseball journey began as a left-handed pitcher with the Baltimore Orioles in the minor leagues, but his stay there was brief. His extraordinary talent quickly earned him a promotion to the major leagues when the Boston Red Sox purchased his contract later that same year, in 1914. He made his major league debut on July 11, 1914. Initially valued for his pitching skills, Ruth compiled an impressive record on the mound. He helped the Red Sox win 3 World Series championships in 1915, 1916, and 1918, boasting a 94-46 win-loss record and an ERA of 2.28 over his career as a pitcher. But while his pitching was elite, Ruth's incredible power at the plate began to turn heads. He started hitting home runs with a frequency and force that was virtually unheard of at the time. By 1919, Ruth had emerged as a dual threat, not just a top-tier pitcher, but also one of the most dangerous hitters in baseball. That year, he set a new single-season home run record with 29 blasts. His offensive prowess forced the Red Sox to shift him into the outfield full-time so they could take full advantage of his bat every day. His meteoric rise in popularity made him one of the biggest stars in baseball, and in 1920, the Boston Red Sox made a decision that would change the course of baseball history forever. They sold Ruth's contract to the New York Yankees for $100,000, an astronomical sum at the time. The move outraged Red Sox fans and kicked off what became known as the curse of the Bambino. With his move to New York, Ruth stepped onto the biggest stage in sports, ready to revolutionize the game. With the Yankees, Babe Ruth didn't just play baseball, he transformed it. His magnetic personality and awe-inspiring power drew record-breaking crowds, helping baseball recover from the infamous Black Sox scandal of 1919. Ruth's debut season in New York in 1920 was explosive. He hit 54 home runs, shattering his own previous record and capturing the imagination of the entire country. The Yankees, who had never won a championship before Ruth's arrival, became perennial contenders almost overnight. Ruth was the cornerstone of what would become the first true baseball dynasty. Alongside fellow stars like Lou Gehrig, Tony Lazzari, and Earl Combs, Ruth helped lead the Yankees to 7 American League pennants and 4 World Series championships during his tenure. Yankee Stadium, which opened in 1923, was dubbed the House That Ruth Built thanks to the surge in attendance and popularity he brought to the team. In 1927, Ruth was at the center of what is still considered one of the greatest teams in baseball history. That year, the Yankees' murderer's row lineup terrorized opposing pitchers, with Ruth hitting an unprecedented 60 home runs, a single-season record that stood until 1961. That same season, the Yankees won 110 games and swept the Pittsburgh Pirates in the World Series, solidifying their dominance. Ruth's charisma, combined with his on-field heroics, turned him into the first modern sports celebrity. He endorsed products, appeared in movies, and was followed relentlessly by the press. More than just a player, Ruth was a cultural phenomenon who brought baseball into the golden age of American sports. Ruth's career was filled with unforgettable moments, but none as famous as his legendary called shot in the 1932 World Series. Facing the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field, Ruth stepped to the plate in Game 3. With a 2-2 count and jeers pouring in from the Cubs dugout and fans, Ruth raised his hand and pointed toward the center field bleachers. On the very next pitch, he crushed the ball to that exact spot. Whether he truly called his shot remains debated, but the moment became part of baseball folklore. Another iconic moment came in the 1926 World Series when Ruth hit 3 home runs in a single game against the St. Louis Cardinals, a feat he would astonishingly repeat in the 1928 series, solidifying his reputation as a clutch performer. And who could forget his legendary All-Star Game performance in 1933, the very first of its kind? Ruth hit the first home run in All-Star Game history, once again proving he could rise to the occasion on the biggest stages. These moments weren't just impressive, they helped etch Ruth's name into the fabric of American culture. Babe Ruth retired in 1935, finishing with an incredible 714 career home runs, a record that lasted until Hank Aaron broke it in 1974. He briefly joined the Boston Braves for a farewell season but struggled with injuries and age, playing only 28 games before calling it quits. In retirement, Ruth remained a beloved public figure. He made appearances at ballparks, participated in charity events, and even lobbied to become a manager, though he was never given the opportunity to manage a major league team. Despite this disappointment, he remained connected to the game he loved. In 1946, Ruth was diagnosed with nasopharyngeal cancer. He bravely battled the illness while continuing to make public appearances, including a memorable return to Yankee Stadium in 1947 for the 25th anniversary of Yankee Stadium, an event that became known as Babe Ruth Day. Standing before a packed stadium, his voice weakened but his presence undiminished, Ruth delivered a heartfelt speech that brought tears to fans' eyes. Babe Ruth passed away on August 16, 1948, at the age of 53. His body lay in state at Yankee Stadium, where over 100,000 fans came to pay their respects. His funeral was attended by some of the most prominent figures in baseball and American life. His legacy lives on, not just in statues and stadiums, but in the spirit of the game itself. Even today, Babe Ruth's name is synonymous with greatness. His influence is seen in every power hitter, in every home run race, and in every kid who picks up a bat dreaming of glory. From pop culture to Little League diamonds, Ruth's presence is felt across generations. The great Bambino may be gone, but his legend will never fade. So, the next time you watch a baseball game, remember the man who made it all possible. The one and only Babe Ruth. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more incredible sports stories.